What is up, everybody? Welcome to Birds of the Round Table. Today, we are previewing Eagles versus Seahawks, top matchups to watch, players of the game, and more. Joining us, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Ready to do a little therapy today, get some things off my chest, and just breathe.
That's what these last couple of days have been. 1,000%. Just literally therapy. If not, I'd probably be driving my wife absolutely crazy. Also joining us, he is David at PHL Eagle News. Go check out PhillyCoverCorner.com. What's up, David?
Not much, man. I share y'all's sentiments. I wasn't looking forward to this recap. I'm looking forward to looking to the future, but I don't really want to discuss this one too long, but got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. And joining us via audio, the GOAT, Shane Half. What is up, Shane? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, Dives?
What's going on, man? Thanks for joining. He might not be able to see him, but he's with us. He's always with us. Before we jump in, guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment your thoughts on the Eagles and Cowboys, Eagles versus Seahawks. Before we have Rodney in the house saying we win, we're going to get this win. We'll see, man. But before we jump into this Seahawks matchup, we got to just quickly do our top takeaway against the Seahawks. Shane, since I have you here, Shane, what was your top takeaway?
You may not be able to see me, but I'm sort of here. It kind of reminds me of the Eagles defense in a way. No, man, I'm less prepared for this show than normal. I've been traveling all day. I've normally watched a lot of all 22 by the time we get here, but it's just a disappointing performance to come out and get punched in the mouth again. I think my biggest takeaway is that the Eagles defense just looks beat. And it's something you've heard me mention before on Birds of the Round Table is the snap counts, being concerned about the snap counts in the defensive trenches. And you come off of the Buffalo game where you play 100 snaps and you get in the mouth by the 49ers. And then I just thought the defense lacked physicality and looked beat in this game. I feel like they can come out and play strong the next 4 weeks. They finally get an extra day rest this week, and they've got a lighter end of the schedule. I fully expect, even if they were playing the same caliber of teams, for them to look better over the last month of the season. They're playing lesser teams. Like, I think this team's going to bounce back, and people are going to feel really good about them going into the playoffs. I just don't – it's going to be hard to trust because we know these opponents they're about to face. But I think that the defense just needs a break, man. And it would help if the offense could go on some long drives. It'd help if the defense could get off the field on third downs. But overall, I just think the Eagles have been out physical 2 weeks in a row, and the schedule probably plays a part in that.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback off Shane because we're kind of on the same wavelength there. Like, outside of special teams, it's been a total team failure. They've been outscored by a combined 43 points in back-to-back losses in their two biggest games of the year. But kind of what Shane said, like, my biggest concern, this for the first time in a long time, this week, I'm questioning Howie Roseman's philosophy and him building a championship roster moving forward. Through 12 games, the Eagles have used 15 different starters at linebacker and safety. I get it. Like, a lot of that's, bad luck and things like that. But that's already the most in franchise history at those two positions. You look at TJ Edwards, man. I know they were never going to bring him back, but the dude is sixth in the NFL in tackles. Reed Blankenship is number 46 in the NFL in tackles. Over the last 3 games, including Dallas, just like Shane said, Eagles team opponent plays per game is 78.3, which is the most in the NFL. There are just major holes in this defense that can't simply be ignored anymore. It will probably be their downfall, to be honest, in the playoffs. And that amount of snaps has just manifested itself into missed tackles, fumbles, Jalen Carter getting his first zero pressure game, even though he did get a defensive touchdown, and just bad football. They did hold the Cowboys to what, only 6 points or so. I don't know, in that second half, but there are a lot of issues right now, and for the first time, I'm questioning it top to bottom. That's my takeaway. What about you, David?
Yeah, I echo all of that, and also they just look lost on the sideline. And I don't like to read too much into what people's face look like, especially someone like Jalen Hurts, who's almost always looks that way, regardless of the situation. But even Fletcher Cox was stating that they're going to have to find out who they have in this locker room. And a lot of the players on this team, they're not used to losing, especially all these high-profile Georgia players and stuff. They haven't lost in 2-3 years. And they're finally having adversity, and nobody knows if they know how to get through it. And the leadership of the team is really going to have to rally behind these guys and pick them up and show them how you get up off the ground, because they're not used to playing off the mat. And he said it himself, we got blood on our mouth. And now how are you going to react? Are you going to get up off the mat, or are you going to lay down there and take it and just fall into a footnote in Eagles history, another season that could have been but wasn't?
Yep, well said. We have Crabby Old Man in the house saying, I grew up in the 60s and 70s when entire Eagle seasons looked like the last 2 games. I'm just grateful for a quality team and organization and to be watching meaningful football in December. That's not the take, though. Like, I think the bulk of Eagles, at least the bulk of Eagles takes, at least on social media that I follow, it's Super Bowl or bust. And for many, the sky is falling. And I can't fault them for thinking that, at least over these last 2 weeks, even though they went 3-2 in this gauntlet. Ryan, what's your take?
I can fault them. Why not? Sack up. Honestly, sack up. They are 10-3. They still are tied for the best record in the league. Yeah, they haven't looked great in a little while, but listen, when we go to a Super Bowl and come that close to winning, the expectations are going to still be there. And listen, you had to do what you had to do with Jalen Hurts. You're obviously going to take and try how he tried to skimp at some positions. Obviously, linebacker, safety, those are the general ones that the Eagles seem to use. But listen, it blew up in his face a little bit. Yeah, we got lucky with Cunningham. That seemed to work out a little bit for us. But yeah, listen, other than that, it hasn't been great. And sometimes that's going to happen. But listen, all I got to say is everybody just seriously, just calm down, realize that this team is absolutely still on a projection to do well in the playoffs and go further. That we just are in a little bit of a spiral. They can figure it out. They did this last year. They lost 2 in a row. That we got all a little weird about things. We thought the sky was falling. It happens every time. San Fran, they lost 3 in a row. I'm sure their fans were freaking out, jumping off the Golden Gate. But guess what? They got back on track. They are a good team. We are also a good team. Realize that. We just need a little bit of break. You're right. We're tired. We're absolutely tired. So that's why getting this number 1 seed is super important for us and for me. Give them another week of rest. We need that. That could be so. Everybody's crying about, oh no, we're going to have to face Dallas and San Fran, blah, 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 blah. I'd rather have the week off. I'd rather get rested up. I'd rather get healthy. And then let's go face those 2 guys and see what happens. That's all I'm saying. Just calm it down. Take a breath. It's Tuesday. For the love of God. Yeah. Calm down. We got a long way to Monday.
Yeah. I pride myself in staying pretty objective with this Eagles team. And I'm not going to lie. Like I've been tested through and through these last 48 hours since that loss, man. Krabby says, given all the adversity this season, they've done fairly well and handled themselves with dignity. Anybody else have any other takes before we move on to Eagles versus Seattle?
Yeah, listen, when we saw this gauntlet in the beginning of as the season progressed, we all were like, hey, if they go 3-3, I'll be happy. Well, guess what? They went ahead and beat Kansas City. They went ahead and beat Miami. They beat Dallas. They beat Buffalo. Like, again, they're going to have some slip-ups. They've lost 2 games out of this little gauntlet. And they can and they should easily finish up Seattle. If you want to lop that into the gauntlet too. But listen, they are exactly what we thought. We knew they would stumble during this period a little bit. It's just I don't think we all expected it to be this severe and have this many problems, but they are fixable. They are fixable. They just need to get a little healthy, a little rest, and just refocused. Honestly, they have the talent. They have the talent.
To play devil's advocate, nobody expected them to go through the gauntlet, unscathed, but nobody expected it to get like this either. I mean, they weren't even competitive in these two games. And you're right, it is fixable. Most of it is self-inflicted wounds. There's a lot of turnovers inside the red zone, and every time they get going, they fumble, they drop pass. I mean, it's been very ugly, but it has taken some wind out of the sails to see just how non-competitive they've been in these games. I mean, they have just gotten the doors blown off of them, and they did lose a couple last year, but they also stomped everybody on the way to that Super Bowl. They didn't have too many competitive games. They were far and away better talent last year against the teams than they are this year. I mean, they've had to come back from a whole lot of opponents, and it's finally caught up to them because you can't keep being behind at halftime and think you're going to score 20 points the second half.
Yep, absolutely. Pat Bernard says the sky is falling. Now with the Giants finding a quarterback, they're playing for spoilers. I don't know about that. Imani says, go Birds. Thanks for joining. Ryan and Patrick, yes, agree on all counts. Just real quick before we finish off this Eagles versus Cowboys segment, who is most to blame for the Eagles' loss? Eagles offense, by far, way more votes than the Eagles defense. 85% to, that doesn't make sense, 16%. But anyway, you get the picture out of 3.8 thousand votes. So a lot of people are down on this Eagles offense, and rightfully so. And I think that is the as we'll get, talk more about this team moving forward. But the Eagles offense, it's in their hands. It's in their hands how they right this ship. Because I think for many reasons, this defense is what it is in some respects. So that being said, go ahead, Shane.
The money in this team is on the offense. Like, the defense has been bad the last two games. They tightened up in the second half, gave up 3 field goals. That's fine. But you look at where the money is spent and where the talent is on this roster. You've got one of the best offensive lines in the league. You just paid a quarterback $50 million a year. You've got a top 5 receiver, a top 15 receiver, and a top 5 tight end. Like, it's on the offense. The onus is on the offense. Like, if the defense holds a team under 25 points, you should be winning the game. And that's what they're going to have to do in the playoffs. Like, if this team wants to make a run, the offense has to put up points, and the defense needs to get a key stop or two. That's the only way this works. This isn't the Ravens or the Steelers where, your defense can just dominate the game. It's just not going to happen. That's not been the approach here. And, I know they brought back Slay and Bradbury, and, they draft defensive linemen with 2 first-round picks this year and all that. The offense has to carry this team. That's the only way it's going to work.
I fully agree.
Yep.
Krabby says it's in their hands, but they keep dropping stuff.
That's
Literally.
like Argalar.
All right, guys. Let's get into Eagles versus Seahawks and top matchups to watch. All right, let's get down and dirty here. Top matchup to watch for me, I'm going Eagles rushing offense versus the Seattle Seahawks rushing defense. This one's all about owning the trenches, controlling the clock. For me, the Eagles' struggles on defense are what they are, just as we said. But the Eagles' offense they have an identity crisis. They need to find themselves again as a team that controls the line of scrimmage. The Eagles have 2 guys inside the top 4 offensive tackles when it comes to run block win rate. They've got 2 guys inside the top 7 interior offensive O-linemen at run block win rate. The Eagles are 14-0 when they rush for more than 120 yards since 2022. Best mark in the NFL. I need to see this team. I'm not saying throw out the playbook, Brian Johnson, but I'm saying get back to what they do well. And, you look at this Seahawks team, they have allowed an average of nearly 140 rushing yards per game since 2022, which is third worst in the NFL. The Eagles have been struggling these last few weeks, man. Over the last 3 games, the Eagles have the 10th fewest rushing first downs. This is a team that averaged more rushing first downs than any team in the NFL by a huge margin last season by far. So for me, I want to see this Eagles team get back to winning in the trenches. And that will then move into time of possession. The Eagles are 12-2 when possessing the ball longer than their opponent since 2022, the 5th best mark in the NFL. So you look at the last 3 games, the Eagles average time of possession 26 minutes and 13 seconds. That is dead last in the NFL in that span. I'm not asking for the Eagles to run 40 times on Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks, but I need a more efficient run game. I need Brian Johnson not to abandon it. Listen, it was working when they were running it, but they just continually shot themselves in the foot in big moments. So I need a clean football game. I need time of possession, and I need an Eagles heavy rushing attack in this one against Seattle. I'll throw it to you, Shane. Where are you going?
Yeah, apologies if I steal anybody else's because I wasn't able to check everything here. But I'm looking at the Eagles secondary holding up against this Seahawks passing attack. The last time we saw the Seahawks, the last time I saw the Seahawks, I don't remember what they did this week, but watching them against Dallas on that Thursday night game. And this is a team that has a lot of weapons. Now, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I was really high on in the draft, and they've got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And this is a passing attack that has the weapons to make you pay in your secondary. Now, Geno missed the game against the 49ers on Sunday. That's why I wasn't thinking of the game, because Geno was out. Geno's expected to be back for this game. And, I can talk about like the pass rush getting pressure and things like that, but I want to see the secondary step up. I don't care how clean a pocket Geno has. I want to see Slay and Bradbury and Roby. I want to see these guys make some plays against a really good group of weapons. I mean, the Seahawks have at least a top 5 trio of weapons in the NFL. They're on the outside looking into the playoffs, but there's some good weapon groups in the NFL, including the Cowboys, including the 49ers, 2 NFC teams we just saw. I want to see the Eagles defense make some adjustments and tighten up in the secondary.
That's a huge one, man. That's a really good matchup to watch. What about you, Ryan?
I'm going to be looking at the Seattle run game versus the Eagles rush defense. Seattle has a really nice 1-2 punch, and Kenneth Walker, the 78th, and Zach Charbonnet, the rookie out of UCLA. When healthy, which certainly is a thing lately for the 2 of them, but when healthy, they really do have a really nice mix, nice 1-2 punch, and are really effective. And Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet have the ability to hit those home runs. So I really want to see the Eagles front 4 and more specifically their rush defense as a whole really come to play, really step up and look to put a hat on a head and really just get some tackles and not get those explosive plays that Seattle rush defense or rush offense is known for. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that matchup for sure.
All right, what about you, David?
I went with the Seattle corners versus the Eagles wide receivers. To me, it starts mainly with the Eagles. They're going to have to remember they have more than 3 receivers for their route tree. Whether it is scheme or whether it is Jalen Hurts not having confidence in certain players, they have to get more players involved. They need to incorporate some slants, some running back screens. They got to get the ball to Oz and Swift out in the flat. And if they try to do the same thing that they've done, they're going to end up with the same result, because Seattle has two very good corners in Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, and they rank 25th versus the pass, and I think they're 28th on total defense, but don't let that fool you. Both of their corners are very good, especially Devin Witherspoon, who I had as one of the best players in the entire draft coming out. And he will make you pay every time you catch the ball. He will hit you. He will irritate you. He's going to push you, and he's going to get into your head, not unlike what Stephen Gilmore was doing to A.J. Brown on Sunday night, except Devin's going to do it a lot more violently because he comes to make you pay. He punishes every single time. So opportunities will be there for them to exploit, but they're going to have to do it. And they couldn't have a better matchup to try it against, because the Eagles are dead last in third down red zone defense, but Seattle is 30th. So they're not much better. So they're allowing a lot of points per game. They're having the same issues defensively as the Eagles do. So the Eagles offense should know how to exploit it, because they see it every day in practice. So it should be a pretty good matchup, and one that if they don't exploit it, they're not going to win this game either.
Man, I forgot about Devin Witherspoon, who's having a terrific season, man.
And he should be back. I think he missed a game out, but yeah, he is a beast, man.
Yeah, I remember. Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I was the highest on Devin Witherspoon.
I know you were higher on him than I was, because I had Christian Gonzalez, CB1. Yep. I'm not sure if you were higher than Mark. I was really high on him too. He was my CB2, but yeah, I was a big Christian Gonzalez guy. And he played this last week. He left early in the game with an injury, though. I'm not sure what his injury status is.
Yeah, I think he said he's playing. I was watching their presser earlier, and I'm pretty sure he said he should be fine for Monday night, which isn't great news, but it is what it is.
He is such a fun player to watch, man. That's some of the most fun I've ever had watching a college player on film was watching Witherspoon.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a quick note on that as well. We saw the Eagles struggle with Trent McDuffie there against the Chiefs. Witherspoon plays a lot in the slot. He only has 9 pressures, Witherspoon, this year, and 3 sacks. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on as we move forward. Does anybody else have any other matchups to watch? Eagles versus themselves. I mean, Brian Johnson. You touched on it, David. Like Shane, you had an amazing tweet on Twitter with the slants. The Eagles are 7th in success rate on slants, but 22nd in usage rate, man. That just kills my soul in so many levels. Considering like that was like arguably their best play with the right there with the brotherly shove to A.J. Brown in 2022, man. That was literally unstoppable.
It worked twice against the Niners. They started the game in the first quarter, hit them twice, bam, bam, and then they never did it again. It just makes no sense.
That's a great example of like what we have seen this year from Brian Johnson, though.
Curl routes is another one. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are both so good off of curl routes, and you get corners that you have to respect the vertical threat, because everybody knows that the Eagles want a big play hunt. And so you run that curl route and you just break it off right when the corner breaks his hips to run with you downfield. And they're so good at that. And they just don't do it. That was another one I think I mentioned in that tweet. But, yeah, for those that are just listening, you can go check out my Twitter. I put out I don't know if you call it like an article now. I don't know what we do. A post on Twitter that's longer than a normal tweet talking about how to fix the Eagles offense. And I put a bunch of different things in there that they're doing poorly, that they continue to do, and things they're not doing very much, but they're really good at. So in my biased opinion, it's worth your time to go check out.
Yeah, it was an excellent write-up. I have to agree with you. Everything you hit on was great, and it shows just how self-inflicted everything is. It was almost depressing because they're doing it all to themselves. But yeah, that was fantastic work there, Shane.
It's all there. It's all there. They just have yet. What are we in week 15 now? I think we are like. Yeah. They've just yet to put it all together. It's crazy. And then the other side, go ahead, Shane.
I was planning to do a how to fix the defense post, but I've been thinking about that for 2 days, and I still don't know. So stay tuned. We'll see if I figure that one out.
It really boils down to getting Jalen Carter rest. I think that's like, remember earlier this season when the Eagles defense was playing a little bit better? Carter wasn't playing nearly as many snaps, and I feel like he looked by far like the best defensive tackle in football. Like he was just everywhere. And
Yeah, he's used to 10 weeks. This is, like you said, this is week 15. I mean, and he didn't come into the offseason in the best of shape to begin with. And I'm not knocking the guy, but I mean, this is the NFL. You gotta be top tier. And Reddick and Sweat are playing way more sweats too, and not just because of how many they're on the field. They're not rotating as much like you hit on. None of them are, and it's taken a major toll.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our Eagles predictions of the week. All right, player of the game predictions. Going back to last week, week 14. Ryan, you had A.J. Brown. Well done, sir. David, Devontae Smith, not so much. Eagles D-line for me, not so much. I'll go Shane. I think you got this one. You went with Dak Prescott. I got to go there. That makes the most sense.
Yeah.
At least anybody disagree with that?
No.
All right, we're going with Dak. Moving forward to week 15. David, let's start with you. Who is your player of the week prediction?
It's got to be A.J. Brown.
AJ? All right.
Yeah, he has to bounce back. He has had back-to-back weeks that he's been extremely frustrated. He's dropped a couple passes that he would make 99 out of 100 times. And he is very frustrated. He has to have a big game. Everything's funneled through him. Dallas Goedert's back, which helps him get more targets, more opportunity to be open, and he didn't capitalize on it. It's got to be him.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
Man, this is tough. Who'd you say, David? I'm sorry.
A.J. Brown.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go Swift. I feel like if I keep saying it, maybe they'll run the ball more. And again, I know it's not necessarily about running the ball per se, like that, 40 times, but there was a stat I saw that was, when they rushed the ball over the last 2 years, more than 23 times, the win percentage goes up like 400 points. Like it's astronomical. And when they are just one-dimensional and pass happy, it's predictable. So again, I just want to see a little bit of a mix of it. They were doing well last time, and Swift was really hitting holes and really getting involved. And man, again, I'll take 25 touches, in the run game and the short pass game with those running backs all day long. So hopefully Swift can manifest that himself and get more involved. And hopefully Brian Johnson realizes that he needs to, do some dump passes, some screens, some wheel routes, some, whatever, check downs. I don't care what you want to call them. Just give Swift the ball. He's electric.
Yep. What about you, Shane?
Give me Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to bounce back this week. I think it's a good matchup with a bad defense. And I just think he's going to have a better game. And I hope it doesn't involve him running a whole lot, because I'd like to see them rest that knee up. But I think Hurts is going to have a big day.
Shane, we have a comment here saying, I think this is the best Shane has looked all season. Thoughts?
Oh, damn.
I like it. I mean, I've always been told I had a face for radio. So
I will say, before we went live, Shane was with us, and his beard is in playoff form already.
Oh, my God, it is. It is glorious.
All right. Am I – there it is. He's looking like Jason Kelsey over there.
All right, Jesus.
All right. I'm going to cheat again. Last week I went D-line. This week I'm going to go O-line. I need to see the O-line, Jason Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, all the guys cement themselves and beat up this Seattle Seahawks D-line. I want to see these guys get in the second level. I want to see this Eagles team find their identity again. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but I feel like that's the best route. That's the easiest route. It's the quickest route to the Eagles getting back to that confidence, that swagger that we're so used to seeing. Like when you look back at the Eagles last year, they were averaging over 35 points a game in December. Like we're not even remotely close to that kind of stuff when you're supposed to be playing your best ball. So I'm going to go the Eagles O-line. David, what's your score prediction?
If we had beat Dallas, this was going to be the first week the whole season I was going to pick the opposition. I was going to go Seattle this week. I think I mentioned it. I'm not now, but I was. The whole season I kept mentioning, everybody talked about the gauntlet, but Seattle is a very tough game for the Eagles. I think they're 1-8 over the last 9. They haven't beaten them since 2008. And I did an article a couple of years ago about how much a toll it takes to fly out there and all the travel plans, because athletes are just so routine regimented going into 3 different time zones. It's just a very difficult trip. In fact, as a quick aside, during their Super Bowl year when they flew out there, Doug Peterson asked the league if they would make both of their West Coast trips back to back, and he stayed out there a whole week in Los Angeles so they didn't have to fly back and forth. I was surprised it was even accommodated, but it's a really hard trip, and for whatever reason, they don't plan well even when Seattle comes to Philly. But I do think that after what's happened to them, they're going to have to get off the mat. They don't have any room for error now. They have to win these 4 games to give them any shot to have the 1 seed and get the rest that is so sorely needed with that bye week. So I'm picking the Eagles 31, Seattle 24.
31-24 for David. What about you, Ryan?
Listen, I'm not going to I was never going to abandon you, David. It's me and you through thick and thin all year, buddy. I'm obviously going to pick the Eagles because they have no other choice but to claw back into an actual playoff contending looking team right now. They lose 3 in a row. I mean, now you can say shit has hit the fan if they lose 3 in a row. So they have to win this game for seeding, for divisional, for whatever you want to call it, whatever reason. Honestly, it's more pride than anything for me. You just got embarrassed by the other 2 teams we've been saying all year. The only other 2 teams in the NFC that we got to worry about were San Fran and Dallas, correct? We didn't say anybody else. It was the 3 of us. We were the top 3 teams in this NFC. And guess what? We got smacked in the mouth. We got punched, bloody-nosed and all. And listen, you may see them again. Hopefully we do. And hopefully we learn to punch back by then. But it starts in Seattle. We gotta throw some haymakers. And I'm gonna go 28-20 Eagles.
28-20 for Ryan. What about you, Shane? Can you hear me? Did we lose Shane? Is he gone?
Oh no. The EOP's sexiest man alive.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there he is.
We got you.
Okay. I went through like a little dead spot. I didn't hear Ryan's score prediction. What was it?
Ryan went 28-20.
Okay. You guys don't have enough faith. I think the Eagles are going to win this game big. I think they're going to bounce back in a big way. Nice spot, extra day rest against a bad defense. Give me the Eagles 38-21.
Wow.
Whoa.
That might be like Shane's biggest prediction of the season.
Easily.
I should note that earlier this season I said I would never pick the Eagles to win in a blowout again. But I'm picking it now. I'm planting the flag. Eagles are going to go dominate Seattle.
I like it. I like it a lot. Obviously, the missing variable, the missing component here is no Russell Wilson. There was a legit segment of time where that dude just gave me nightmares against the Eagles. Man, the Eagles never beat him. He was 5-0 in his Eagles career. Russell Wilson in his Eagles career, man. just a beast. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, two touchdowns on the ground. I don't know, man. I just don't like the vibe of the Eagles right now, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to go Seattle wins this one. I'm going to go Seattle 31, Eagles 27. I just don't think this team is vibing right now. And we have seen it all season long. So I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, that is what it is. I'm going to go 31-27 Seahawks. Just to play devil's advocate.
Shane went big time, and you went against the family. I get it.
Way to bring down the show, Dives.
Right?
What we do here. It's my job. Literally my job.
No vibes, Dives.
Oh, stop.
Put that on the Twitter handle.
Yeah, put that underneath. Put that underneath your little moniker there. That's great.
Bad vibes, Dives. That's
bad
better.
vibes, Dives. I love it. That's the best.
Done. All right. All right, guys. That wraps it up. Let's finish this thing with plugs. Shane, I can't believe we still have you. You sound fine on our end. Plugs, final thoughts on Eagles versus Seahawks.
Yeah, this is a big spot for the Eagles. You got to bounce back. Been punched in the mouth 2 weeks in a row. We're going to know what we need to know about this team and how they respond. If they go lay down again, it's over, and it's time to move on to draft content. But I really do think they're going to bounce back in a big way. So I'm excited for this one. Not excited it's a Monday night game. It is nice for the Eagles to get the extra rest, but I hate Monday games. So there's that. But go check out my thread on Twitter at ShaneHuffNFL. I did the post about how to fix the Eagles offense. I think it was informative. I will be posting all 22 clips tomorrow and hopefully getting an all 22 video out on Thursday. That's a day behind my normal schedule, but I was traveling all day today, so I haven't watched any of it. But so just keep it tuned there to my timeline, and I'll have a bunch of that stuff rolling out tomorrow.
If you guys love Eagles or NFL content in general, make sure you follow Shane at ShaneHuffNFL on X or Twitter, man. Keeps us all informed and keeps us all in check, to be honest, at times. David, time is yours.
I share the same sentiments that Shane does. I think this is going to be a big game for the Eagles offense. I'm not as confident in the Eagles defense doing as well, but I do think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to be good enough to win, but I cannot see them losing 3 in a row. I cannot see them giving up this opportunity. There's just too much veteran leadership on that team.
Yep. Anything you want to plug, man?
No, I had a piece come out today for Philly Sports Network. It's just about how this season's kind of reminding me of the 2018 season that they ran back, where it was just a whole bunch of what ifs and maybes. And will this team end up a footnote like that team did, or are they going to step up and ride to another Super Bowl?
Yep, that's why I went with the Eagles O-line. To be honest, they need to for my player of the game, because they need to find themselves again. And I think
it was a great choice. They really struggled. They're not even in the top 15 right now. I mean, statistically, they've really struggled.
Yeah, the run blocking is hurting, and
it's been.
I refuse to believe they're that bad. I don't get it. It is what it is.
They're tired.
Ryan, yeah, they're tired. Yeah, Ryan, final thoughts on the Eagles versus Seahawks. Plugs.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to be tired on Monday. And I jokingly said my matchup to watch was me versus my bed. And, I'm hoping I survive and am able to watch the rest of the whole game. But I also would like to say that I am wearing my Big Dom velvet velour tracksuit in his honor for him missing the game. So big up to Big Dom. May he be back on the sideline this upcoming Monday. I will say, listen, as I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks, we keep getting punched. I want to see them punch back. We have to, and listen, I said it last week, punch back, even if you lose, I want to see the punch. And listen, they may be scratched, they may be clawed a little bit, but they didn't punch. I want to see them punch. Seattle is prime to get punched in the mouth too. So let's see them get back on track Let's get a little momentum as we go into our ungauntlet, the last 3 games of the season. So let's get a little momentum. Let's get a little, get some wins under our belt. Head into the playoffs. Let's hope we can get a little rest with a bye. If not, we'll got a couple of home games. The Eagles fans are going to be rowdy as all hell, as you all know. So listen, let's just have faith. The sky is not falling. We don't need to jump off the bend just yet. Let's wait till Monday night. Let's see how they react. Let's see how they respond. Outside of that, make sure you follow me at Philly Sports PSA on X. I got shows Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever. I'm all over the place. Me and this guy over here, we do draft content. We're double dipping right now. We're picking up a top 10 positional, and then we're doing top 10 of the 4 major college football playoff teams. We already did Michigan and Alabama. So please check that out. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube for EOP so you can see all of our draft content. This guy is like profiled, probably, I might be exaggerating, 2,000 players. So please check that out. Please make sure you're following Shane. I almost want to say at Shane half and half, but that's not right anymore. But follow Shane, follow David. Amazing articles, great stuff on Twitter. I wish I was as active as you two, you three actually. Dives is amazing stuff as well. Great content, great information, and again, draft content. This is the guy. I'm just riding coattails at this point with these 3. So appreciate all the love and support, especially on the YouTube. Please make sure you follow all of us and give that support. It means the world to us. So thank you.
Awesome stuff, man. We have Todd Green chiming in saying Sirianni sucks. Oh my God, I don't understand. So ridiculous. I will. Last plug for me. I started doing some individual scouting reports. Just some guys that I really like. So I'll be probably putting out like 5 to 10 of those per week. They're like 4 to 5 minute scouting reports that are graphics, strengths, weaknesses, things that I see, and then their best plays of the season as well. So it's like a highlight reel and scouting report all in one. So go check that out. I've done Braylon Allen, Malik Neighbors, Audric Estime, Trey Benson, Travion Henderson, Blake Corum. They're all there on the channel over the last couple, like 24, 48 hours. I'm going to keep pumping those out. Those are specifically my guys that I think I would love to see in Midnight Green. So be on the lookout for that and more of that moving forward. We're working on safeties. We put out a poll for what top 10 positional rankings you want us to address next. Safeties, Ryan. So we're working on safeties.
Can't wait to talk about them. I love this safety group. And again, this is one of the 2 major needs that we've been talking about for how long? Linebackers and safety. Well, we just did linebackers, so check out that video. And now you're going to see safeties. We'll be breaking them down real soon. So,
yep. So the plan is to do all the top 10s, position by position, and then we'll roll into like day 3 guys, and that's where I think the nitty gritty is. Stuff comes in. That's my favorite. So please be sure to check out that stuff. He is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. Go check out David, man. One of the best writers out there, period. Pretty good podcaster, too. At PHL Eagle News. And then Shane, he sucks. What else can I say?
In memory of Shane, be with us today.
All right, guys. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., Birds of the Round Table. We break down biggest matchups to watch and everything. Please smash that subscribe button wherever you're watching. We're streaming on multiple platforms. For Ryan, for David, for Shane, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.